active role in life in the school. From what I know, people see me as the basketball player, the football jock, and maybe not much else. And that's fine. After all, most of us categorize people by what we see, and rarely go beyond that. It's important to see the whole person before you label them as something. It's important to go beyond what you can see, and beyond what you know. Today, I'd like to tell you something about me, something that perhaps you wouldn't be able to see by just looking at the surface. There have been some major obstacles for me to overcome. Today, most of these obstacles would not be, most of you would not be able to notice these obstacles, but my parents noticed them when I was very young. They noticed that I did not have an interest in communicating with others, particularly children my own age. They noticed that I could not feel empathy towards others. So, in other words, I was incapable of emotionally connecting with other people. Most days, when Mom would pick me up from preschool, I would be alone in the corner of the room, playing by myself, and completely disconnected from the other children. My parents, recognizing a major issue in my social development, decided to seek a professional's opinion and a recommended course of action. I was evaluated by several doctors, and all of them came to the same conclusion. Some reports were less optimistic than others, but all seemed to agree that I displayed serious social deficits affiliated with the autistic spectrum disorder. Along with that, one had the nerve to tell my parents that I would never be able to function in society or ever be able to show emotion. The recommended course of action was to attend ESE classes in the public school environment, which I briefly did. This was also around the time I began all aspects of therapy associated with autism. I began seeing speech therapists, behavioral therapists, occupational therapists, and working with several psychologists. All the while at Terra Elementary, I was given therapeutic assistance alongside all the other students. While I'm thankful for the attention and treatment I was given there, it was clear to my parents that I would not develop as much as they thought I could. This is no knock on the public school system. It was just impossible for them to show me the attention that I required in order to reach the potential my parents saw in me. There were kids in my class with paralysis who couldn't walk without body braces, some in wheelchairs who couldn't feed themselves, and those are the kids who required the most attention. My parents continually sought an environment that was more conducive to my social and emotional development to add to the additional therapy I was receiving already. During our search, my parents stumbled across a little Montessori school down the road from where we were living. The school, titled Moore School, was operated by 2 retired school teachers looking to make a difference in the lives of younger children. The school consisted of roughly 30 kids, ranging from ages 3 to 8, and was ran out of a small 2-story house on 43rd Street off of Manatee Avenue. Not known by my parents at the time, but the discovery of the school and the environment in which it presented was the foundation for my drastic improvement. Call it fate, call it whatever you wish, but for my very first visit, although the waiting list was extraordinarily long, Dr. and Mrs. Moore were able to see potential in me that even my parents and I could not fathom at that point. I will forever be grateful for the love, care, and attention they were able to provide me, while still managing to provide the same services to all the other children. Furthermore, the weekly efforts they displayed by staying in constant communication with my therapist in order to unite everyone's efforts towards one common goal was essential to my social and mental growth. The amount of progress I made under their care was so remarkable that it was time to bid farewell to the Moores. They said that I needed to be here at St. Stephen's. Now, one thing I recently uncovered in the reports is that my ability to adapt to environmental changes was alarmingly low, 0.6 percentile to be exact. Looking back at my first year at St. Stephen's, this explains a lot of my difficulties. For most new students, the environment may seem pretty small, but for me, coming from a school who had 4 students in its 2nd grade class, it was a huge adjustment. It was a painfully long transition, one that I eventually made alongside my therapist and the family I've come to know at St. Stephen's. So to me, St. Stephen's means much more than the world-class education that they willingly provide. It is the place where I've begun to realize who I am as a person. The initial goal for me was to learn how to function in a bigger environment, but thanks to the faculty and my classmates, I was able to do more than just survive. My leadership qualities and social skills continue to develop beyond the expectations of my therapists and parents, and as I've progressed here, these abilities have only continued to flourish. Looking back, having had the opportunity to reflect on my time here at St. Stephen's, I owe my ongoing growth to the nurturing and caring environment that St. Stephen's effortlessly provides all of its students. The two people that I will never be able to repay, however, are my parents. They made the crucial decisions concerning my development, and they surrounded me with all the right tools. The thing I am most thankful for is the fact that they stressed to everyone that I was working with to surround me with as normal of an environment as possible. I'm so thankful for this, because reading those reports for any parent saying that the child may never be able to function on his own, or that he'll never be quite in step with the rest of society, must have been devastating for them. For most parents, the easy way out is to accept the reality of the situation and accept the label that the doctors were going to put on me. But my parents never let anyone label me as anything, because they knew I could lead a normal life. They could see beyond the surface. They knew I had the potential to be who I am today, even when the doctors refused to go beyond what they saw. Even when things got really difficult, they stuck it out because they only had my best interest in mind. The funny thing is that they never told me about my condition, and at first I was confused why. Then I understood. My parents never allowed me the opportunity to use this as an excuse for anything. So on Mother's Day of this year, when my mom finally did tell me, it didn't even sound like my life. It sounded like I was listening to someone else's story. Because of the outstanding job they did of allowing me to live a normal life, no matter how unusual it may have been. So when everything from my past was on the table, the appreciation I had from my parents grew that much more. I'm forever indebted to them for what they've done for me, and I hope they never forget how much I'll always love and appreciate them.